Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Happy Saturday, and welcome to our session for Meet the Global Leader. We organized this session for our audience who are mainly university-going students in Bangladesh. They're currently studying at universities. This webinar is about sharing real life lessons from different people who are in different professions around the world, how they're doing things, how they're developing and implementing skills in their professional career, as well as some advice how students can utilize their university life and before graduation they develop some skills that are necessary for professional sector and to broaden their mindset beyond their border. We organize this session. We have invited today Ms. Maya. She's a data scientist at frontier.cool in Taiwan, and she's a PhD candidate at the National Taiwan University of Science and Technology, specializing in data mining. With over a decade of experience in higher education, she has excelled as an assistant professor and has held various management roles, including head of planning and development. Her expertise in educational neuroscience and data science positions her as a thought leader in her field. So join us as she is going to share her insights on leadership, innovation, and the future of education in a data-driven world. Maya, welcome to our session.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mahbub. And hello, everyone from the School of Management in Bangladesh.
Great. As you know, our audience are university students. So if you look back, how was your university life, and what were the skills that you developed before graduation when you were a student? If you share some experience of your student life.
I think it's been it's around 20 years. So I start my university in 2004, but since I was a kid, it's the end of the 90 and early 2000. I really like the computer. Of course, at that time we don't know the AI because I live in the hometown. But after that, because of I like computers and everything related to the computer, then I take informatics as my major. Actually, my university life, I never been I never only learned in school, but I think since I started my university life, I always have side jobs, like help my senior to working at the time working in the network. We built because at that time in the early 2000 it's very popular to build the local area network. So at that time, I also work as a part time with my senior and also working as a assistant, teaching assistant. At that time, I helped my teacher to teach Visual Basic because at that time we still learn Visual Basic and Delphi. And then, yeah, I think it's not always learn at school, but also have the other experiences outside the school. And also because because I really like to I'm an extrovert person, so I cannot stay only inside the room and then learn. So I also have some other activity like extracurricular, like join the hiking group, and then like student club. We organize the seminar, webinar, something like that. So I think many things happen when I look back. Yeah.
Great. So you are, like you are in the field of your passion that you're passionate about. Like it's very not very, but sometimes uncommon for graduates because when they study, say for example, finance, they start their career in sales. When students, like study in marketing, they start their career in supply chain. So especially developing country like us, there are cases that like students they mostly pursue their career that they almost didn't study in their university life. So during your when you started your career, did you find any gap what you studied in the university, but what you're doing initially in your career.
Yeah, thank you. So after I graduate my undergraduate, so I take a software engineer at that time. My focus is build the e-learning system. And then after that, I work as a freelancer. I with my friends we build the website. We build the company profile website, something like that. But it's only maybe only 1 year. But after that, I choose education field. So at that time, I chose to teach in my alma mater. So for the gap, I think because in university, especially for the undergraduate, we only learned we learn the technical skill, but sometimes creative, and the tools they use in industry also various. So we have to relearn, and we have to adapt very fast to the industry. But after that, because I back to my university and focus on the education and research. So yeah, so at that time I have to choose which one I have to choose, industry or academia. So at that time I choose back to academia.
Yeah, great. And like before, so how what do you see the connection in between passion and the career field? Say, for example, I'm passionate. You're passionate about computer technology, but you study. Say, for example, you study supply chain. So, how students can find their passion and work on it? Say, for example, they're very much into maybe fintech or supply chain. So how students can find their passion and start working on that? If you share some brief suggestion on that.
Supply chain, you
No,
mean? Uh,
I mean, say for
yeah.
example,
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
how students can work on find their passion and start working on that before their graduation.
Okay. So maybe I give the example for my current university when I teach back in Indonesia.
Yes,
Because if I give the example from the few years ago, I think it's not relevant enough because it's totally different. It's not, yeah, because the technology, the development of the technology improve exponentially. So I give the example for my current university. So I teach in Jakarta in Indonesia. So we have collaboration with industry. So we give the students opportunity to have the internship in the third year. Because maybe when I was a student, I don't really need the internship because the technology is still I can still catch up the technology after I graduate. But right now I think we cannot do the same thing. We have to study, we have to implement our concept, our idea, our technical skill along with the industry experience. So for example, we can have a project with industry and we work together. My current university right now, we also work some project from the industry and also from the government. So I think what we learned concept in the university, we have to implement it in the real project. Of course, for undergraduate student, still need supervisor to take care of them. But for the PhD students, I think they can work more independent than the undergraduate student.
absolutely. And you have mentioned it's a very important, I think, advice for students that there are internships when they're in third year, but here when students are in their last semester, they have to go pursue their internship. So there's a gap because like it's almost their end of their undergrad, and it is difficult when they find they don't have the right skills. They have to uh, they are in a very vulnerable situation, that, say for example, as a student, when they say, oh, I don't have this leadership skill, or I don't have this skill, how in a short possible time, how in the short possible time I can develop these skills. So there is a vulnerable situation for them. But in that case, when students they can find any internship opportunity, maybe locally or globally, when they're student before graduation. If they do multiple internships, they can accustom themselves with the different universities. So students should pursue, even if there is less opportunity like internship when they're current students, they should pursue international internship opportunities. This is very important. And like everyone these days are very much into data. They're you're a data scientist. There's so much topic data mining. So if you share some basic, say for example, on what is, as a data scientist, what you have to do and your path to become a data scientist, if you share your journey, how you have become a data scientist in short.
Okay. So things to do when we already choose what we want to be in the future. For example, for me, data scientist. So we have to know what kind of skill we need to get. We need to develop. For example, for data scientists specifically, we can start learning from the easier thing, like data analysis, how we prepare the data. We have to know what is the data itself, because some data have a different characteristic, like categorical, numerical. So we have to understand what is the data. We have to analyze the data. We have to prepare the data. So it's a part of the data analysis. And then we also need to learn how to pre-processing the data. It's how to scrap the data. It's part of the data engineering. So for data itself, there are so many kinds of specialized. So I think the theory you can gain from the university, because university already give you the basic knowledge of the data, and including the data analysis, data engineering, and also data scientist. But the other skill you have to develop more for the data scientist is how you communicate the data. So I think beside the technical skill, you also need the communication skill, and how to how to deliver your data. So the communication skill here is also very important as a data scientist. Once you already have this basic knowledge, then in the third year, I think you can start to find the internship. Or I think, yeah, it different, maybe 2 years program or 3 years program. But after you already finish learn the basic knowledge of data, then you can apply for internship. Yeah, I think the roadmap is very simple like that.
Yeah, so it is almost visible that students have to explore, say for example, if they want to become someone, or want to pursue their career in different. So for example, if they want to be a data scientist, they have to study. So there are a lot of resources online, like free courses, like so many write-ups, step 1 2 3 guidelines. So like in the
Yeah.
world of so many distractions, so many activities to do for students, social media, hangouts, like volunteering activities, so many associations they have right now. But in that case, even they have to want to be someone expert in a particular field, they have to study. There are a lot of guidelines they have to follow. So first they have to find their passion, and then they should pursue their passion step by step. So you have developed strong skills in data mining, Python and R. So can you walk us through your approach to building a successful team, and what strategies do you use to ensure successful implementation?
Yeah, as a data scientist, actually, I'm part of the team, because in my company we also have a data department and we also have a AI department. So this one for the data focus on the data, and AI development, they are more focused on the create the AI model, machine learning model, something like that. So because one concept we have to remember that even we have the best model of AI, but if the input or the data is not good, then the result also cannot accurate enough. So that's the mindset. I think we have to remember how important the data is. And then based on my experience, one there are some skills that we have to develop if we want to work as a data scientist. First we have to think or have a critical thinking of the data. So we have to analyze the data more creative with the data. For example, we already have the tabular data. So the question is what we can do with the data, what insight we want to gain with the data. So start with ask the question. Usually I will ask questions when I see the tabular data or data, then I will ask questions what I can do with the data, what insight I can have from this data. So if I already know and I know what the logic I should do with the data, then it will be more easier for us to create the model for our data. So the communication skill, I think, is very important, because we have to communicate and also have to collaborate with other team. So collaboration is very important here. Yeah, we cannot work alone as a data scientist. We have to communicate with many departments.
Yeah. So you also worked as a higher education teacher. So different industry, different background, profession. So if you share your experience, that how working as a higher education teacher, help you in your career in data mining.
Yeah. So back in my university, when I was actively teaching in the university, there are two kinds actually. First, I'm teaching data mining, but I'm teaching data mining AI related. But the second one is I also actively engage in the management role. At that time, I work as a head of planning and development in the university. So as I mentioned before, data mining is a very technical skill. I mean, it's a field program study field. But on the other hand, we also need to collaborate with other stakeholder for and also I mentioned about the internship, but what kind of internship? How students can have an internship? Therefore, the management role in the university also very important. At the time we create the collaboration with the government and also with the industry. And then the second one, we also create the curriculum. We create the curriculum for the department. There are so many departments. And as you mentioned before, there are for example, supply chain, marketing, they are related each other. Also with the IT. Because of my university, we have many departments like agriculture, agro-ecotechnology, we have management, accounting, we also have education department, and also information system department. So we have the important thing I learned from my work in the university is how we give the opportunity for the students to create the collaboration project. For example, my students, they create the hydroponic, and they create the IoT to check the how to say, the hydroponic, and then they use the IoT to control and to check the pH, yeah, something like that. Yeah. So they have to collaborate each
Mhm.
other in different department.
So like it's all about, I mean, locally, globally, in business or in profession, it's all about teamwork. Like no one can success alone. So in that case, teamwork is very important and very powerful skill to develop as well. So like if you share how important it is for students to have a mentor.
Yeah, you also mentioned that we can have many resources in the internet, but we don't know which one is correct, right? Because there are so
Yeah.
many resources in the internet. So mentor is a shortcut, so it can make you, it's like a shortcut, it can make you learn faster. Because now I learned Python, but oh, my friend learned R, so I think maybe I should learn R. So I also learn R. And then, oh, the other guy, he still use the Java. So we don't know what to learn. There are so many kinds, so many things, so many resources in the internet. But when we have mentor can help us to keep going on the right track. For example, you can say to your mentor, okay, I want to become the data scientist. So the mentor can help you to find the shortcut, the easiest way. So you don't need to, you still need to learn outside the core subject, but mentor can help you and make you learn smoothly. So I think mentor is very important. I also have a very good mentor, therefore I really grateful for that. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes professionals or students, they get tired of what they do. But and also there is a misconception, or there's a saying, I mean, there's a misconception, I must say, when people pursue their PhD, it's like their life is like hell. So in case of you, you're not doing your PhD, you're a data scientist. So how you are balancing your own personal activities and your profession, your PhD?
I always I always thinking that life is a journey. So I always take everything step by step. So it takes me, how to say, because I always take it step by step, and then it makes me easier. Not, I mean, when I finish my S1, then I work and then enjoy life, and then I take my graduate for S2, and then I work for 7 years, and then after that I back to the university again. And right now I'm still studying in PhD. I have to say that PhD is totally different with the undergraduate and master study, because the pressure is more, how to say, more high, because a professor or your supervisor wants you to do the research independently. You must have your own idea for your research, and every day you only work on that research. You have to think outside the existing knowledge. So, but on the other hand, I also believe that because we have to choose first, everyone have their own choice. For example, if I want to become the pure academician or researchers, maybe I will do the research, and then maybe I will work in the research institute. But for me, I choose another path. I love research, but I also love the applicative things. I love to integrate industry and academia. Therefore, I choose internship and I choose a full-time job here, because yeah, it's our choice which one we want. Full as an academia, or after PhD you also want to work in the industry. So yeah, I think because you love your job, then you enjoy it, even it's very
Abs-
hard.
Absolutely, it's all about, like, if you're working with your passion, towards your passion, it's like a sports. It's not difficult if you really love what you do. So, like, how do you stay updated with the industry trends and developments in data science, and what resources do you recommend for students interested in this field?
All right, I really the love three things. Like, first one, we have to learn. After that, we have to unlearn. Therefore, we can relearn the new things, because technology development is very exponential. So we must have a skill to unlearn and relearn. First thing is, we have, hopefully we can have a good environment, we can have a good uh, colleague or friends. For me, for example, even I work as a data scientist, I also have many friends who also work in the same field, like AI engineer, like deployment engineer, something, ML ops, something like that. So I can always ask them if I stuck with my problem. I can ask my manager if I have problem. So first thing first is, hopefully we can have a community that we can share, we can ask, we can learn together. Is very important. But the second thing, we have to update our knowledge through the right now resources, many resources in the internet. Sometimes I take the Coursera, because there are many e-learning. Coursera, we also can have we can join free for some courses, edX, and also I learn from LinkedIn. LinkedIn also have a e-learning. I think it's we have to pay, but my university pay for us, for the students, so I can have the access free. But I think Coursera, edX, and LinkedIn is also good resources. Yeah, and also I think right now we also need to develop skill to question if we want to use the ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, like, resources are there, effort should be there from students to learn, and the mindset that I need to learn, because the world is evolving rapidly. I mean, advancement in technology and so many new updates and different things are coming. Machines are coming, so they should continuously keep themselves updated with the continuous stuff. So in your like career and professional life, we all have challenges. So how do you, like, when there are challenges in your life, so how do you overcome it?
How I solve my challenges and
Yes.
keep going. I mean, yeah, just keep going. First, we have to know what's our dream, what's our goal. If once we know our dreams, our goals, then everything we do in life will align with our goals. So the mindset of never give up, keep going, have a good friends. I think have a good friends is very important, because having good friends that always support you can increase, can help you to uh, how to say, because I think friends is very important in life, because they can support you and encourage you. So how I solve my problem or challenging is, yeah, I think I have a very good friends, good mentors, good seniors. They make me to keep going.
Absolutely. And can you share a personal philosophy that guides your approach to work and life?
mm, I really like one quote from my mentor Daisaku Ikeda. It's a He said, it is the heart that is important. So it's our heart is very important, For example, even I work in one company or I work in one university, if I don't have heart to work, then I cannot deliver a good work for the company or for the university. So becoming a data scientist is one thing, but becoming a human is another thing. So because I always believe that data and AI or IT is like a gun. So the most important thing is not the gun, but the man behind the gun. Yeah, I think that's my philosophy. So we have to
Abs-
create better world with the AI.
And like, can you share your experience as a PhD candidate and how it has shaped your perspective on research and innovation?
It's it start from solving problem. It start problem solving. So from the research, because my research is the categorical clustering, so I cluster the categorical data. Maybe I will not share very technically, but for the research life is very interesting because we start from find the gap, the problem in the real world that cannot been solved until today. So what we how do we know? The first thing, we have to read a lot of research paper. So we have to read a lot of research paper. Then we know what is the problem. What is the problem that still remain or not solved yet. And then after that, we also have to try to solve it. By what? There are many things. The first one is we read more papers. Of course, we read more papers. And then we have to implement. We have to do the experiment. Then I think the most challenging part is doing the experiment. Because once you suggest one method to solve this problem, sometimes the result is not accurate and it makes a lot of frustrated. And then you have to start again. You have to find another method to solve this problem, and the accuracy is still not good. Professor said we cannot publish paper, we cannot solve this problem if the accuracy is not enough. Then we still need to do the experiment. So it's like the looping. It's like do it again and again until we get the result better than the previous method and then solve the problem. Yeah, I think that's a PhD life is repeat like that every day. I think it's a repetition. Yeah, because you don't need to apply uh, it depends. But for my case, I don't need to implement it into the real world because what I develop is the method. So once we already develop the method, we can implement it in many kinds of fields. So yeah, I think that's the point.
It's very like wonderful and exploratory uh, things and great. So if you were a student today in the university, so what are the skills that you would develop as a student?
First, students must have a technical skill, very good the technical skill. Either the students is want to work as a data scientist, want to work as a back end engineer, front end engineer, want to work as a web developer, everything. They have to gain the knowledge for their technical skills. But it's very important the technical skill. Specialize. I prefer to be the specialized than the generalist, because if you do the specialized thing, then you know the detail of your works. And then the second one, the management role or leadership role. Not everyone become the manager, but everyone can become the leader, right? So becoming the leader or becoming or develop the management things like critical thinking, like the collaboration, communication, public speaking, how to deliver our idea is also very important. So I divided it into two kinds. The first thing is the technical skill. I prefer to be the specialist. And then the second thing, develop the management thing. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you know the idea, but you don't know how to deliver the idea. So
Yeah,
very difficult. Yeah.
absolutely. And so overall, if students, so we are almost at the end of our session. So if you share some one advice for a student, so it doesn't matter whether the background is a business or non-business background. So how important it is for students to work with data and to be expert on data, and how they can start from today to gradually develop their data management or data mining skill.
Yeah, I think data is everywhere. We need data in all the fields. So data is everywhere. So it means a data analyst or data scientist is needed in every aspect. But the degree, so the degree of skills or the degree of importance may be different between one field and with the other. So the first thing, I think the easier thing is Excel. Actually, for the beginner, maybe we don't know how to code with Python. We can use the Excel. Excel is already powerful enough to analyze the data, the simple data. You can start to learn how to use the pivot table is very helpful for to see the raw data. And then second thing, we can start to learn the database, how we save the data, which format we should do. Is it the structured data or is it unstructured data? Because financial data will be very deep, it will be very different with the social media data. So how we save the data. And then the second thing, the analyze data. We have to learn, for example, we want to know the revenue of the company. We want to know the profit, the revenue, how many staff and how how to say. For example, for the bank, how we can give the loan for the customer. And for my case, for the textile industry, how can we predict the physical properties of the textile. So we have to develop that one. So I think there are many things, but you can start from the easier thing. Using Excel, you can use the simple one like Power BI. And then, yeah, there are many outsourced software, but I don't really use it. Most of the time I use the Python. Yeah.
Great. And so again, the ultimate thing is how they want to learn it. There's so many resources they have to start. So maybe one strategy is not going to work for a certain amount of students, but a lot of resources are available online, and it's actually their wish whether they want to learn and proceed, go further in their career, in their life. It's actually the will and effort. Everything is there to support, the universe is there to support them to fulfill that way. So Bismillah, thank you so much for your time, and your expertise is so impressive. Within this short period of time, it is difficult to cover, but we'll publish a blog. The students can learn in details from there by reading it. And on behalf of School of Entrepreneurship Development, thank you so much for your valuable insights, your advice, and your the lessons that you've shared. It is going to definitely help students to create an awareness, to have a food for thought for their life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mabu. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.